the day of surgery has arrived. This is something that needs to be done, and I'm really being cautious about it. I'm kind of dreading it, because once it's done, it can't be undone. But the hope is to eliminate, first off, the sag. There's a sag, a little bit of a sag right about here. From this point on, there's a dip here, and this should all be one straight contour. So we're going to do the surgery on the bottom to eliminate the sag, number one, and then number two, we have to run the LED lighting in there. So there's going to be basically an incision all the way down here on each side, and somewhere in here, I don't need to go particularly all the way down to the front, but I need to get enough of this up, perhaps right here, enough of this off so that a very solid, rigid brace can be adhered underneath, inside, along this line, to eliminate this little sag that's right about here. And when this model is upright and you put a little bit of flexing pressure here, you can see there is a joint that separates. So this really needs to be done to conserve the model. This was a panel added. This is actually the base of a aircraft carrier display stand, and these are actually the verticals right here. There's the slot, there's the piece of plastic that goes into the slot. These are the verticals that pop into here, the other one's over here. And the aircraft carrier Enterprise, the big one, the big Rebel kit. So that was an addition in '83, just to access the interior, to install the rice bulbs, which I told you about before. And it's not even a perfect fit, because as I explained before, I had avoided photography of the bottom of this in the Saga crew footage. And this just happens to be hanging out. We can actually test that for fun and see how many of the rice bulbs will light up. And they do heat up. They are incandescent bulbs, and when I did run the lighting, I had to limit the amount of time they were on, because they're inside of a paper and cardboard structure and they become red hot. We didn't want no fires happening. So maybe we will test that system. But they are going to come out, because they never lighted this to its full potential, and many of them have since burned out too. So I did take a moment, get a brand new 9-volt battery, and attached. Nothing happened. They can't all have burned out, but there's a connection problem probably. So when we delve into this, if I find the connection problem, we can test the old lighting there. See that? Revel Incorporated, 1975, patent pending. So I know I do have a good memory for what's what. So yeah, here's a look at the wiring. And these are not. There must have been electrical tape on it that's fallen off. Actually, there's the duct tape. So if those were insulated from each other, that explains it. So I can re-insulate these, but as I explained, this is all going to come off. But I could probably see the conning tower lights. Might be interesting. So there's more than just those wires being bare. I've got a 9-volt attached, and nothing's lighting. Here's the original piece of electrical tape that was on there, and I have the 2 bare wires. Tried a brand new 9-volt battery. Again, no light. So there's more going on beyond this the end of this circuit. But that's what this restoration is about. We're going to have brand new LED lighting. And I have two of these units. One is going to be for all of the porthole lights, and the other unit will be exclusively for the engines. There's nothing heading towards the front as far as stiff structural members to keep the sag from happening. Of course, we're expecting parts to come loose. That's what this tray is for over here. I wouldn't be surprised as I get inside of here if this is sort of like a piñata. I may have written a little note to myself 40 years ago in case I ever got in here. I don't know. I'm funny that way. Time capsules and notes to the future and all that kind of baloney. It's in my DNA. My grandfather did that. He had little hidden storage compartments I found in his house. So I vaguely remember, probably wrote down the date I built it. I'm assuming it's about 1978. It'd be nice if I found the actual date, wouldn't it? Two cuts there. This is about as exciting as watching paint dry, I know. Corrugated cardboard. Encountering cross members, no doubt, in there. Going right through them with trusty X-Acto knife. So just to illustrate why we're doing this, from the side you can see this sunken area, sunken in. This should all be straight and plumb. So for the first time in over 40 years, we're going to see the light inside of this front section. Oops, part. I know this is sort of being treated like an archaeological dig. Well, I'm sorry. This is Saga of an Obsession. You were warned. Wow. All of these lights to the front section under here disconnected. I don't know what happened there. Another connector. So these were all lit up. Something came off. So rice bulbs. I don't see any notes to myself from 40 years ago. You can see some pinholes. Those were to let light through. There were lights in there. So now a similar incision shall be made. Probably it's going to have to be wider. And you can see now, again, as stated before, this is the unchanged paint scheme from 1978, mostly silver, and made little attempts to sheathe over the corrugated cardboard. There's a little, so this is not up to the standard of the top side. As a decision will be made, I'm not sure if I'm going to upgrade the bottom, because it does serve as a testament to the early days of the model. I guess you have a renewed top. I mean, look at this. This is crude detailing. Again, meant for 5 feet away compared to the top panels, which you saw. So I'll make a decision on that. Look at the heavy weathering by means of gray and black paint spray, since a little bit of the bottom would be seen. I mean, it's really overdone there. But again, it wasn't dealt with in as finely tuned a manner as the top side. So a little heavy on the overspray, the dark, it looks like dark gray, just to make the nose details pop out as seen from mostly the top and the side. So we will have to decide. So I just laid my flashlight in there to simulate what the hangar bay appears like. You can see the hangar bay. Maybe I don't have the right angle on it. I don't know, this towel's in the way. But it's neat. And I'm also able to look down now to see what I'll be cutting through. See if there's any members in the way there for the cuts. Amazing the lack of reinforcement. I would never build it this way today. When I build something new, it's a lot more complete as far as reinforcement's concerned. This is the big scary cut, but it has to be done. It just has to be done. I think instead of messing with this, I think we'll keep it here. I should be able to reach the engines from here. So, away we go again. Oh. So some damage is unavoidable during this slice, this piece. So I'm going to repair as many things as I can quickly when they happen. There's less work later. So the incision is complete all the way around, but there's some structural reason inside here that this isn't lifting out. So we've been looking in deep inside here. There, right at the center of your screen, there's a structural piece of structural cardboard. So we're about 3.5 inches back from this point. She's right in here. There's also another one about 5 inches back from here, so that would be 2. There's one here and one here. I'm gonna try this method for reaching those supports. Success. That's one side. We'll have to be a little more careful on the other side where, because the hangar bay is there, but this side there's nothing critical that we can harm. Success. So let's see with the rear bulkhead of the hangar bay how far back it is. About 7.5. There's actually an extra bulkhead here, different than the other side. I'm not sure why. Can you remember what you did 43 years ago, if you're old enough to have memories that far back? So we're through. First bulkhead. So as far as I can tell from the feel of it, everything is free. So the first time in 43 years, my God. First time in 43 years that I've been in here. It's kind of like breaking into a tomb, huh? Of course, this dropped in because I had it holding up. No notes to posterity. I was hoping there would be a note to posterity here, but no. Okay, so now we got our structural bracing to do. I've got to decide what I'm going to use. Something that ain't going to bend in the future. Something with great stiffness, whether it be a piece of plywood, which has multiple grain directions. A regular piece of stick wood would bend. Plywood essentially would not, or some other kind of piece, potentially metal or aluminum or something. So we're in. So it's so sad that this is low budget quality back then, but the outward appearance, I did as nice a job as I could possibly do. Looks like when we sliced here, we sliced through this, call it a structural bulkhead for the engine lighting. Although I don't see any, I don't know, I must have pulled the bulbs out. And this is just pillow fill, which was fluorescent hot pink. And it used to be illuminated from behind. In the original footage, the 83 footage, this glowed very nice from back here. And we're gonna redoing that. And here's a look at the hangar bay detail from inside. So it's an old piece of circuit board, I guess. Here is an example of the old rice bulbs. Very popular in model railroading way back. Extracting one of the original rice bulbs. Here it is. So I hope you enjoyed this major surgery video, and I'll see you on the next one.